Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Elizabeth Arago, and I'm here on behalf of the Drawing Room for tonight's AHA Night event. So AHA Night is a free arts and culture event on the second Thursday of every month in downtown New Bedford and virtually through conversations like these. And we are honored to welcome our very special guest, Pilar Newton, who is joining us from New York tonight. Pilar, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Absolutely. So Pilar is an animator, cartoonist, an educator, and for those of you who aren't familiar with her work yet, she has worked on everything from Cartoon Network's Courage the Cowardly Dog, MTV's Daria, and her own graphic novel, Snozzlewinks.
That's my life's work right there.
What was that?
That's my life's work right there.
Yeah, right there in a snapshot. So can you tell us a little bit about how Saturday morning cartoons started you on the path that you're on today?
You know, like the Saturday morning cartoons, basically were my life. And now, you know, they're not as they're special. Animation is special, but they're not as special as back when the only time you could see cartoons was if it wasn't a Christmas special or something. It had to be like a Saturday morning. And I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning, like the sun would be rising, and I would be catching like the very first thing that came on, which was usually Davy and Goliath. And then once like all the network Saturday morning stuff came on, you know, Davy and Goliath and very old anime shows like Battle of the Planets, which I would get up really early for. But it wasn't until like I saw the Smurfs, like when the Smurfs came on, I just remember it was sort of talk about AHA, right? Your show AHA. That was my AHA moment because it was like, what is this? Whatever that is, I want to do that. I have no idea how it's done. I have no idea like how they're making these characters move, but I want to do that. And so I just started like drawing Smurfs like over and over and over again. And
so
that started me on my
when you saw the Smurfs, so I mean, I love the Smurfs, but when I saw the Smurfs, I was, you know, like singing the song and was like, you know, eating my cereal, enjoying it. But when you saw it, you saw that, but you also were thinking about how does this get made?
Yeah, like this started like I remember just looking at it and saying, wow, like I wanted to do that. That is, and it just blew my mind because I was like obsessed with the Smurfs. I didn't have really like a VHS recorder, but I would hold up a tape recorder up to the TV set and I would record the sound of the animation. I would just record like hours of like video, and then I would sit in my room with the lights off and listen to audio from the Smurfs, and that blew my mind because I could listen to, at least I can't see it, but I could listen to it as many times as I want. And it was just blew my mind.
You know, so besides recording the Smurfs, then you also started drawing right away. So
no, I've been drawing since I was like 2.5.
Okay.
Like my mom, she keeps reminding me of the fact that the very first recognizable thing that I drew was Lady with a Pocketbook. I wish to God I still had that. And then as soon as like my parents realized like, wow, she's really going places, they signed me up for professional art lessons, like 2 hours every Saturday with a professional artist in a studio, like a real art studio for 2 hours every Saturday. And I was learning how to paint. I was learning how to shade. This is like all starting when I was like 7 years old, like working with a professional artist.
Oh, wow.
So I was already like classically trained before I even started drawing Smurfs and going on to performing arts high school. Continue it.
And I think that's pretty lovely to hear about the support that you had so early on from your parents and professional artists.
No, they're amazing. Like my parents were so supportive. Like my mom's my biggest cheerleader. Like she like you know, every like accomplishment she'll say, you know, Pilar drew like a really beautiful woman with a pocketbook, and she's like still telling people about this. It's really beautiful. It's adorable.
That's what moms are for, right?
Absolutely beautiful.
So tell me a little bit about the wonderful world of the Snozzlewinks? Because that's something that you've literally been drawing
Yeah.
for what decades now, really.
Yeah, and how it all began, and I was so obsessed with the Smurfs, right? That when I exhausted every episode that there was to see, I couldn't get enough. So I just started drawing my own characters. I was like, I just want to come up with my own creatures, my own world. I want to build, and I love that whole thing, like world building. So I just filled up notebooks and notebooks of Snozzlewinks. And actually, I think I gave you some examples. Like
you did. I'm very excited to share them with everyone, because this is what I think is super interesting about this conversation that we're having with Pilar right now, is that, this world that she built when she was a kid.
And I was in third grade when I drew that, drew this particular one. And I don't even know where I came up with the design. Like, it was just, yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to talk over.
No. I was gonna say, were you, did you read comic books, or was this, you were just, drawing out how you envisioned layout art?
Well, I had Smurf comic books, and I also read Archie. Like Archie was like one of my biggest influences, just because it was what I knew, it was what I read. And I also had Smurf comic books by Peo, because Peo, cartoonist Peo, started off. It is my husband. He just chimed in. Hi, Ivan. Peo started off drawing the comics as Smurfs was a comic before it was a cartoon.
Oh.
And so that comics are like actually my first love. And I don't even know where I came up with the designs of the Snozzlewinks. I guess I just figured it's like, well, I can't come up with something blue, the Smurfs, that's taken. In my 8-year-old brain, I'm like, what's another thing I can come up with? Oh, green, that's a good thing. And the designs, I don't know, I just kind of liked the noses. I just felt like these animals with these ears and like kind of elephant noses and stuff. Like I thought it was kind of fun, and it just made me feel good to draw them. And and then of course, there's the bad guy, that's Tag Off, and he's always trying to kidnap the Princess Maria, and the Princess Maria's boyfriend Winkle, like he's really courageous, and he's always fighting Tag Off and rescuing Maria, but she's really tough, so she could also rescue herself. She doesn't need But yeah, and then there she is being terrorized by Tag Off. And Maria, I kind of came up with Maria. I was like, what's a really cool name? And at the time, my sister was obsessed with my big sister was obsessed with West Side Story.
Oh.
And so we had like West Side Story on rotation in the household, and I was obsessed with it too, by osmosis. And I was like, well, Maria's a cool name.
Well, and I love seeing how the Smurfs and West Side Story became Snozzlewinks.
I actually created a Snozzlewink story that was like kind of like West Side Story, where the Snozzlewinks were like having like a knife fight, and it was like
I see where you're going with this. I feel like this is right up my alley, and I'm in it.
I know, and I did this when I was like 9 years old. Like, what do I know about knife fights, right? But the Snozzlewinks, so they kind of live in like another land, and they have magic. They wear beanies on their head and they fly, and and it's just kind of a magical world of creatures. And I just thought it was fun. It just made me feel good to draw, like the fight against good versus evil, and forests of really fun creatures, and I could escape into these worlds. But where the graphic novel came about is I wanted to be like, what was the best way to bring Snozzlewinks to the world?
Sure.
Well, how about we see them through the eyes of Stella? Stella's a girl who may or may not be based on myself. And she, big surprise, loves drawing cartoons. And we've entered the world of the Snozzlewinks through her. Like she's our eyes. so we're kind of seeing the world of the Snozzlewinks through her point of view.
And so how far into, you know, your creation of the Snozzlewinks did Stella enter the picture? Was that a more recent occurrence when you were putting the graphic novel together, or has she always been part of the story?
Oh, that's really recent, actually. So basically it started, I just got my master's in fine art at School of Visual Arts in their visual narrative department. Really amazing department. They just really like allow you to let your freak flag fly. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
And you just develop your own stories and worlds. And, you know, it's interdisciplinary. So I could do interpretive dance and, you know, and get and tell a story. But since comics are my first love, I decided to tell this final story in the department. It ended up becoming my thesis as a comic. And I had like animator friends of mine, because animation, I'm an animator. I've been an animator for like the last 20 plus years. All my animation friends are like, well, why did you like major in visual narrative? You should have done animation, because that's what you are. Like, I literally had someone who shall remain nameless corner me at a party, and they were like, why? But why? But why? And I was like, because I'm not going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do something I already know how to do. But anyway, so visual narrative, School of Visual Arts, Nathan Fox, the chair, he's amazing. Shout out. He shepherded us through, him and his staff of wonderful faculty shepherded us through the process of telling stories. And they were like, well, what do you want to do as your thesis? And I said, well, I've been wanting to bring Snozzlewinks back. I created Snozzlewinks when I was 8 years old, and I need to do a graphic novel of them. I need to tell the story. I need to bring them to the world. But then that's when I decided, well, let's have a girl cartoonist protagonist show us this world, you know? And so we entered through her eyes. And I feel like it was a successful thesis, and I took it to the next level and printed it. And I've been getting really great feedback. As far as I know.
No, I mean, it's delightful. And what I love about it is that, well, I'm also going to pull up some pages while we're talking.
Oh, I just know it's your doggy. What's your doggy's name?
Oh, that's Ginger. Ginger often will make comments during the live stream, so she'll be sure to join.
Adorable.
So one of the things that I love about Stella is that she already knows how to express herself through her art, but she's not appreciated yet. She thinks outside the box, and that's, I think, something that's delightful. And I like seeing how her art is something that just might save the day. So we're gonna share everyone.
Well, you know, and Stella, like, so she's like, I decided what part of time of someone's life would be just like the most challenging time, and that's middle school, like middle school. So I was like, I thought it would be really fun if Stella also had her best friend, an iguana named Sam. And another thing, like, I bring everything from my life into, what did they say? Like, write what you know, draw what you know. And actually, I had an iguana for 12 years, and when I was, they're all through my undergrad. So I would walk around the Rhode Island School of Design with him sitting on my shoulder, and people would say, "There's Pilar with her iguana again." And so I said, I made perfect sense for Stella to have an iguana friend named Sam that went with her everywhere. And so the story starts with Stella entering school, like, she did a really great drawing for the assignment, and she's really excited to share it with her art class. And Sam snuck in with her. So Mr. Oakes, the honorary art teacher, says, who wants to share first? The assignment is to draw a turkey. And, it's almost Thanksgiving, and that's the assignment. You know how in art class we like, okay, draw a turkey, and it's Halloween, draw a pumpkin. And so she unscrolls this magnificent pièce de résistance, which is a demon turkey of doom. So her imagination is like outside the box. And And of course, he says, Stella, that is hardly a turkey. Now sit down and stop embarrassing yourself. So of course, the school bully, Shelly, immediately comes up. I think I might have. Oh, I sort like I showed you the
Oh, yeah.
the abridged version instead of unabridged.
Sure.
So she shows her drawing, and it's really just like one of those turkeys where you traced your hand and like do the, and not very creative. And he says that the simplicity, the form, the minimalistic value of it, now that is art. And so Sam, he's like, she upstaged Stella because so she runs over and like bites Shelly, which gets her kicked out of school, which gets her into tension.
I do have to say, this little panel of Sam biting Shelly's leg I burst out laughing when I saw it because I thought it was delightful. So
and that's like in Sam's character because Sam gets mad, but he never loses his composure. Like even when he's biting the crap out of someone, he's just like
very calmly chewing on her leg. It's fine.
Yeah. So, later in the day, she's at the park. This is, of course, all in and around Brooklyn, and it's like Prospect Park. She runs into Shelly, who promptly, what's this thing called? Talks to them, accosts her, and says, you and your iguana, he bit my leg. And so he says, and so Sam's like, oh yeah, well, your artwork's stupid. And then she chases them into the park. So now she's being chased by the school bully. And by the way, all of this stuff is like an amalgamum of like experiences that I've had. Like I've been cut down in front of class by teachers, like that just want to like, embarrass you. No one at the LaGuardia High School of Music and Art, no one there. Like I've had nothing but the most support ever. I won't name names. And I understand, I'm an art teacher myself, so I understand the, being, you have a bad day, but you don't make kids feel bad about themselves. But, I've had teachers, make you say, oh, that's bad, that's not good, and I've also been chased through the park by a bully several times. When you go to junior high school in the late 80s, your life is, basically trying not to get beat up and trying to be yourself and avoiding bullies and avoiding getting beat up while you're being yourself.
Yeah, I'd say middle school is usually a minefield in general. So that makes sense.
Well, this is so she gets chased into the park and she hides and she finds an old construction site in the middle of Prospect Park. And in that construction site, she finds just a little a little tunnel was uncovered, and she hears Shelly getting closer, so they go into the tunnel. And so I kind of have this in the next shot, this "we're not in Kansas anymore" Toto moment. And
I love that it comes from Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's like, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah. And it's like very much, and the great thing about, I had a lot of feedback and support while I worked on this, because this was also part of my studies. And I remember it being specifically told, like, your world building. So
sure.
I want to be able to like look at this and be like, this is not Brooklyn, And the thing is, in the world of the Snozzlewinks, everything's like kind of snozzle shaped. The mountains, the trees,
I did
the animals, which you'll later find out.
Yeah, later there are many animals that are snozzle formed.
Yeah. So we meet Winkle and Maria, who suddenly we cut and they're hiding from the evil tag off that has them cornered. And Stella shows up just because she just kind of walks into their whole scene and just has like a knee-jerk reaction, punches Tag off in the nose, the bad guy. He passes out. She's in shock, so she ends up falling off. She doesn't realize she's so close to the edge of the cliff. She falls. What will happen next?
You'll have to find out with your own copy of.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I love this.
like the pitch. So just so everyone knows, Snozzlewinks is available at the drawing room. FYI. So, Pilar, one thing that you were talking about was, how comics are your first love. What is it about the the act of drawing comics and creating worlds that appeals to you so much?
Well, and not to diss my own thing that I do. I'm an animator. Animation is my love. Making things move is my love. I incorporate my love of animation into drawing my comics all the time, just to show showing movement, and like everyone sees, everyone sees my art, says, wow, your characters are just so animated on the page. But what I love about comics is that you can create entire worlds, but you don't have to have a $6 million budget to do it. So there's something so freeing about me being able to just create an entire world and this adventure in this world, but I don't have to, come up with the budget and animators, and animation is so much work. And because I literally, I make a living that animation is kind of really what I do to make a living. I do animation, I teach animation. Those are the two things I do.
Sure.
But and I love it so much, but there's something, so it's almost like when I work on Snozzlewinks and I work on comics, it's kind of like I'm taking a vacation. It feels like I'm taking a break when I do it. And there's just something about holding the tangibility. Of course, there's web comics. It can be argued web comics are awesome and everything, but being able to hold this in your hand and just shove it in your bag, and any comic, any graphic novel, anything that, you could just take this and toss it in your bag. When things were normal, you get on the train, New York City, take the subway, you toss a graphic novel or a comic in your bag and take it with you to go. Or I go to a comic store and I'll buy like a pile of comics, and then I'll go to a Starbucks and read them, or just find like a nice comfortable spot on the train and sit in the corner and be reading a pile of comics on the train. These comics are just so transformative and magical, like from superheroes to like elves, like one of my personal favorites, elves from Elf Quest, to Jeff Smith's Bone. And Bone is like actually is another one of my biggest influences. Like he has these like really little creature, these white kind of marshmallow looking creatures that run around and escape into these worlds. We're with the RISD stuff.
So one world that you definitely escaped into was the wonderful world of RISD, where you went and got your undergrad. And when we were first talking with Pilar, she did let us know that she chronicled RISD life, including including her dorm mates, which include our own Anthe. Anthe and Pilar were dorm mates at RISD, and I think we also have
we lived directly across the hall from one another.
Yes, I think we have Sharon.
Sharon's here. Oh,
yeah, Sharon's here, and Sharon, we see you also in the comics.
Sharon, so you're in there. You're in there. Oh my god! And actually, Anthe's in there twice because Chortle with Pilar and Maki is a neck the fake bug gag. So actually, Anthe is she's sort of on the upper right. And then over here, fall on the floor with laughter with Anthe and Sharon as they use the old aluminum cans loosely taped to the shelf above the door, knee slapper. And because they had this decoration over the door of like different kinds of I don't know if it was beer cans of soda, and it was a really nice decoration. But as we got on later in the semester, they would land on your head because the tape. Do you guys remember this? I don't. Sharon and Anthe, like you guys are probably like, what?
Anthe is behind the scenes, like falling out of her chair in laughter, just so everyone knows.
that's me, and my friend Amy being hit in the head with falling empty cans for the record. So they didn't hurt that way. They just surprised you,
of course. And so I think here's another adventure from the RISD times with Sharon.
This is something that I made up. Sharon and Anthe may or may not have done a semester abroad in Rome, or I might have imagined that. But there was this one semester where all of my friends like studied abroad, and the only people that were around was me and Grady. And so
And
it was
so,
okay, soda cans, soda cans.
it was not
soda. I'm getting you in trouble. Oh snap! But so I made up this whole story where Sharon and Anthony were studying abroad, and somehow it's not a study abroad. It was a ruse, and they got captured. You know, the people that were supposedly having to study abroad, they're actually working like hard labor or something. So then it was up to me and Grady to save them. And so Grady was taking this class in paper design. So in the comic, I had Grady like construct an airplane out of paper so that we could hop into the plane and go save Sharon and Anthony. I only did the introduction. I didn't do the whole story because I didn't really, it sort of like fizzled. I didn't really know what to do after the airplane.
Strong
you guys,
start.
if you're listening, we did save you. I would have, that's what I was going to write. And then this is sort of like, I chronicled our times together, during orientation week. And look, Dominic gets those two nice girls from my floor, Sharon and Anthony. and then this is from my sketch pad. Like, it got water spilled on it, and my friend Amy dropped a glass of water on my bag, and water got it. And I never let her live it down. And so there's Anthony.
I'm assuming that's like an artist's nightmare.
Oh yeah. And so later on in this sketch pad, I switched to non-water soluble pens. So there we are.
Lesson learned.
So it was fun. I kind of wish that I kind of want to go back and like re-chronicle all of this because RISD was such a magical time. And I'm sure like you've heard from Anthony and stuff, like it was just such a fun, like magical time. It just felt like, especially the first year, it just felt like a demented kind of summer camp that lasted all year. Except you're making art out of tape and clay.
Say when you're surrounded by a group of creative people, and you're putting your creativity to use, I can only imagine.
Oh, exactly. Oh my God.
Well, everyone, thank you for indulging us with the little adventure in the RISD comics, but I thought you might appreciate that.
Well, you can also have volumes 1 and 2 right here. Just say the word. And then also just to give you an idea of how old these are, like it's like literally like the cover is like falling off, and it's crazy.
I love it. So how many old notebooks do you have of just like drawings and doodles and sketches and comics? Is it?
Well, between high school and RISD alone, I have like about 5 of these kind of hardcover notebooks filled up from end to end. Mm-hmm. But I have like dozens of sketch pads. And then I kind of slowed down working on my own stuff because I was working in animation for so long, like doing client work or doing work in studios, that I kind of forgot about my own stuff. And which is why, when I went into School of Visual Arts and Visual Narrative, I started filling up sketch pads again. I have sketch pads with Snozzlewinks in it and Snozzle creatures. And I'm already working on some Snozzlewink mini stories, and I'm also working on a part 2.
Well, the graphic novel ends with a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
We are waiting for book 2. So just going to throw that out there, everyone. So
I cannot wait. I'm waiting for I'm little by little, like, working on stuff I'm developing. But I might have to wait until like summer to really dive in and draw. Cool. So my goal is to maybe try to by summer be ready to just kind of dive in and just do the art.
Well, and you're saying the Snozzlewinks are a bit of a like it's a like labor of love, right? It's something that you created when you were a kid, and it's something you brought to fruition through this MFA program, but in the daytime you're doing a lot of other work too. So the can you talk a little bit about like trying to balance professional output and personal professional projects?
By day, by night, draw Snozzlewinks, but by day, no. Um, I'm actually I'm a professor at two colleges. I
Mhm.
teach animation at two colleges. So I teach animation at the City College of New York, where I've been. Oh gosh, this might be like this is about like my sixth year there. Wow, that's insane.
Nice.
And so I like to say that City College has an animation department, and I'm a one woman animation department. I started an animation festival there. I'm working on starting a collective. I've gotten our work into like the CUNY Film Festival, and CUNY is the City University of New York, and the City College is the flagship college of the City University of New York. Um, and I also teach. Oh yeah, we're good. That I also teach at the School of Visual Arts, where I just got my MFA. So
Mhm.
what's really crazy is that graduating, just a little backstory, graduating from getting my MFA, it kind of coincided with the coronavirus. So I remember, May 5th, 2020, sitting in my living room saying, well, I should be on stage at Radio City Music Hall with John Waters, getting my diploma handed to me. But instead, I'm sitting in my living room. But I'm so grateful that, we got to finish, because there were some schools that were like tough noogies. You can't
Mhm.
finish now. And what was really amazing is that we had our little graduation ceremony, and then we immediately ran outside for the 7 p.m. Clap. I don't know. Did you guys do that at the beginning last spring slash summer? Every day at 7 p.m., everybody would go out onto the sidewalk and clap. And it was just something really magical about it.
Yeah.
But right after I graduated, the School of Visual Arts reached out to me and said, how would you like to teach animation here? You just graduated. How would you like to teach here? And I was so fried from the summer,
Of
because I
course.
still had an entire summer semester to go, even though I did the graduation ceremony. I was like, do I want to do this? I'm so tired. I was just planning on sleeping all fall. But I was like, no, there's something kind of full circle about
Sure.
getting my MFA at the School of Visual Arts and then teaching there. And they're amazing. And I'm just so grateful to them for having me. I'm grateful to the School of Visual Arts for having me, and the City College for having me. So,
So
um,
tell me about working with, you know, young future animators and, what they're working on, what they like, what they
yeah.
respond to, go ahead.
Oh gosh, like, one of my things, I kind of like to look at myself. I've been affectionately dubbed as the soccer mom of animation of college, and I was like, wait a minute, is that a compliment? Oh yeah, wait, it is. And even on the first day of class, I say, even when you're done with this class, you won't be rid of me, because I don't just say, okay, here's a bunch of exercises. Okay, bye, have a nice life. At the end of the semester, the students that do like really strong, especially ones that do really strong work, but they all do, like, let's submit this to festivals. Well, it's only 10 seconds long. Who cares? Submit it to a festival. And like, they've gotten their work out there that way. And it's been pretty amazing just seeing the look on their face as their animation plays on the screen, on a big screen. And it's just that I like live for that. And I concentrate in drawn animation,
Mhm.
traditional drawn animation, as opposed to like 3D animation like Pixar.
Sure.
I do like traditional like drawn animation, or better known as 2D animation as opposed to 3D. And so I take them through exercises and literally teaching them how to make something move. How do you draw something? How do you make it move? The very first day I'll say, okay, do you want to make something move? Yeah. And I'm like, you can make something move and you don't even have to draw well. Professor, you're crazy. Yeah. Draw a dot. Okay. Now draw that dot a little further to the right. Okay. Now draw that dot a little further to the right again. Okay. Keep doing it. Now make that dot get a little bigger. By the end of like 20 minutes, they're like you could barely hear a sound in the room, because they're like, I'm making something move. This is amazing. And we're working in Adobe Animate software, where you're drawing directly onto the timeline. But what's amazing is that you can draw on a tablet and see your drawing. And it's just like drawing, it's like you are drawing flat, but it's on the screen.
Sure.
And you can see your animation playing. You can see your animation playing like immediately. And then it's like they never look back. They're like, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep making stuff move. So it's pretty amazing, and I just love it.
No, it sounds wonderful. And one of the things that you referenced your an animation department of one.
Yeah, I am an animation department of one at the City College of New York.
Yeah, but one thing that you and I were chatting about before we started the live stream was that when you were putting together Snozzlewinks, you put together an entire team of ladies to help you. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Oh my God. Now, speaking of the City College of New York, so when I was putting my book together, I needed, someone, I don't know anything about laying out a book and getting the bleed right and making sure like the gutter in the middle there, like over there I don't even know if that's called the gutter, is right and everything. I just draw and I'm like, I was just going to slap it together and print the book but then I was like, no, you know what? The most amazing graphic designer I know is a young lady, Lourdes Obidia, who like literally just put out like a children's book for her thesis. And she's just did a successful Kickstarter and she's like selling it and she's amazing. And I was like, I need you to lay out my book. I could just throw like a bunch of nonsensical art to her and I need her, and then she'll just lay it out and she'll say, okay, this is the cover, this is the way the spine is, and then she'll call me and she whips me into shape till she'll say, Pilar, that is a half a centimeter off, I need you to adjust that file. Okay. and it's really amazing just because like I basically just hire her for everything because I need her to keep me in line. Like she takes my work and makes it make sense. And she's amazing. And then, so basically my interior, like I inked my comic and I made the decision I was like, listen, I'm on a very tight schedule. And I made a decision to, do my comic in black and white. And it was actually a tough decision. And even I met some resistance, like some of my classmates were, Pilar, you're really good at coloring. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not listening to you because I actually want to finish mine and I can color it later. But then I was like, well, what if I had like really talented painter come in and do like washes, like gray wash and shading in grays to give it like an atmospheric feel. And it's amazing. Artist Rain Lagdapon, like Rain is amazing. I use Rain for everything. Rain's gonna be working on the next Snozzlewink. She's also going to be like helping me with a short story I'm working with right now. Marjorie, my webmaster, she's amazing. She did all of my web design, Snozzlewinks.com, because I know nothing about. I mean, just all these amazing women, actually. And not only are they amazing women, they're all like former students of mine, and who better that their work than like students that you taught and trained,
well, and how much how much of animation is collaboration, right? It's very little of it is an individual thing, right? I assume.
Oh, just amazing. Yeah. And it really is about collaboration. And I talk about all the time in my class. Like sometimes I get kickback, like, oh, what do you mean? I just want to draw now. And I'm like, no, you'll get to draw, but you also have to like talk to your classmates and have these like feedback sessions and talk and collaborate. Your classmates and your peers are your most valuable resource. You're going to find this out later in life. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wish that I had learned this earlier on.
Sure. Were you more of a solo artist before?
Well, when I was an undergrad at RISD, they were amazing because they didn't teach me. They didn't say, "Hey, we're going to teach you how to break into the industry and be an animator to work in the studio." Mm-hmm. They were like, "No, we're going to teach you how to make a film from start to finish." Mm-hmm. And what's really amazing is that I came out knowing how to start, because a lot of times you can come out of school knowing how to animate, but in terms of making a film, even a short 3-minute film from start to finish, a lot of times people won't know where to start, Mm-hmm. And I came out knowing how to write a film, do an outline, storyboard that film,
Mm-hmm.
make an animatic, do rough animation, do tweaks and make your tweaks and feedback, and then create your film and then submit it to a festival. When I told my students, you're going to submit your animation to festivals, they all looked at me like, huh? Like, I'm like, wait, how is this not like common thinking? Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody, they said, professor, are we going to get a job?
Mm-hmm.
And I say on the first day of class, I say, the first thing I'm going to tell you is I can't guarantee that you're going to get a job. And so I see like a lot of their faces drop.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, as a matter of fact, you probably won't get a job. And their faces dropped some more. And I said, because I can't guarantee it. And their faces dropped some more. And I said, the one thing I can guarantee is that you're going to walk out of here an animator. And I always tell this story. I said, you have what I didn't have. When I was at the Rhode Island School of Design, just to make a 3-minute film, you have to take a pile of paper and shoot it one at a time onto film, which is amazing, by the way. Then you have to spend like $100 just to get that film developed. Then you might have to reshoot it. That's another $100. Then you have to create an optical track and a negative and a work print. And then you have to send it off to a lab. And then you get that back. And it's like you're spending like thousands of dollars just doing like a 3-minute film. Now you can make a film just with this little object in your pocket. I have a friend, Dave Levy. Dave, if you're listening, he created a film just by drawing with his finger into a drawing app on the phone. And this is when the iPhone first came out. I might be like botching this story, but this is how I remember it.
We'll roll with it.
David's gonna call me later and say, Pilar, it's like not even right. And he created a film from start to finish on an iPhone. And not only did he finish this film and send it to festivals, it got on TV. And I tell people that story. I'm like, you have the technology in your pockets. Mm-hmm. You have no excuse not to animate. And they all look at me like, and it's really, I love seeing their faces like change when I tell that story.
Well, it's like you're issuing a challenge.
It really is. And they keep, the vast majority of them like keep animating, like when they're not in my class anymore. Like I stay in touch with them and they send me animations like, look what I did. And so it's pretty amazing.
I love it. And I think one of the things that we were talking about when we were chatting before is that I think when you first started drawing, you were told that you danced to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so cool. You remember that.
And it's a little bit of something that I think you're trying to remind your students, right? It's like you have this ability, you have the technology, like you can do it. It doesn't just have to be this regular path.
Exactly. And then actually it was really amazing because that actually stayed with me. Like I was doing an assignment with a class. Oh gosh, what was her name? And I was in like 3rd grade. It might have been 2nd grade. And it might have been Miss Mazer in 2nd grade, but we were going to take like needle and thread and you take a stocking and you stuff it with stuffing and you pinch it and you sew certain parts and you can make a face, like a stocking sculpture. Mm-hmm. And I love stocking sculptures. And they said, okay, make a face. You could like kind of make the eyes and the nose and like the ears. And even if it's a lady, and it always looks like a little old man or a little old lady. It's really cool because it's all like, you've probably seen them. And I said, well, I don't want to make a person. I really want to make a cat. Like I want to make a cat nose and the way the mouth is. And I even want to kind of pinch it at the top to make ears. And she said, don't you want to do what the rest of the class is doing and do like a person? And I said, no, I really want to do a cat. And she said, Pilar, she said, you dance to the beat of your own drum. And she didn't mean it as an insult. I was like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because I was 8,
Sure.
And she said, it's like you march to the beat of your own drum. Like you're going your own path. You're doing things differently. And she didn't, and that was a compliment. And I was like, I like that. I like the way that sounds. And I did my cat sculpture and I was successful. I wish I still had it.
And when I was thinking about that when I was reading the book, when Stella unfurled her, turkey of doom, I was thinking, well, Stella marches to the beat of her own drum, doesn't she?
She definitely does. And Stella, I have so many stories to tell with Stella just alone, and I'm also planning like some standalone Stella stories as well. So I'm just really excited, about
Yeah, well,
what.
we are too, and I think you even have a Snozzlewink friend over
Oh,
your
really? Like, did he
shoulder, don't you? I
join?
think he's joined for the.
Oh, look at like Winkle has joined us, and this is really cool. And this what's really amazing is the wonderful Kayla Solomon. Is there any way can I share it in their social media with you, like their Instagram? Is that something I can do, or is that something I can do later?
Yeah, either, both.
Yeah, no, 'cause I would
So
love to.
we can share with anyone who signed up a list of things to follow up with anyone and everyone. So
Oh, wonderful! I would love to. I'll do that because I would love all of these amazing young artists. So Kayla Solomon, who is also a former student of mine, amazing animator. So she graduated, I forgot, a couple of years ago. Oh gosh, my memory. So her film, she's a wonderful. She's just amazing. I can't say enough amazing things about her. So her film, she graduated City College of New York, and she did a film about a woman who looks mysteriously like me. It was a girl about a girl who has a mentor, and the mentor may or may not have been loosely based on me. She was inspired by me. And that film went on to win grand prize at the CUNY Film Festival. And I'm like, you're unstoppable. You're amazing,
wow.
And so during the pandemic, she said, I've been getting like really sort of restless, and I've just been making art. And then one time she told me that her computer screen malfunctioned and she didn't have her computer for a couple of weeks. So she got all of this fabric and just started sewing because she needed to have that creative outlet because she couldn't animate for a while. So she started sewing. So she said, Pilar, could you send me a picture of Winkle? And I was like, well, sure, I'd love to. I said, what do you have up your sleeve? She said, you'll see. And so she just started sewing and sewing and sewing. And next thing you know, she says, what's your mailing address? And this came in the mail. And this is just wonderful. Like, I mean, look at the feet, the tail. I mean, look at
I mean, he's perfect. He's literally perfect.
And she did such an amazing, Kayla is amazing. Kayla, if you're listening, you totally rock. And I want to like just mass produce these. I could just clone Kayla and just like, but
well, if you can't mass produce them, we'll take small batch production at the drawing room.
I would love that. We'll be talking about that because I'm going to be talking to her about furthermore of these, but look at it. Even the ears are adjustable, by the way. Like the ears are bendable. Like he has like the little like propeller, and even like the tail's adjustable. I mean, what?
I think she really captured I don't know, the joy in the characters that you created.
And look at like she has like the little fingers, and even like their little toes, because that's the Snozzlewinks. They have like little brown toes. And so they have like she even got like the little toes. She did such a good job. She's amazing. That's Winkle.
Thank you for sharing Winkle with us, and really thank you so much for sharing everything with us for the last.
Thank you for having me. This is a blast.
Everyone. We have Snozzlewinks available at the drawing room, and after the conversation, we'll have a follow-up email, and we'll post different links to
I would love that.
the animators that Pilar wants everyone to follow and know. So we can keep spreading the creativity and support of other other artists out there, and we'll look forward to not only this but the next adventure.
And I want you to follow like Team Snozzlewink, Oh, and I forgot to mention Jeannie Lee, who did like a lot of my. She did some extra coloring for me. Oh, and Lord Azabidia designed the logo because I'm terrible at logo design, and I use this for everything. So I'm just surrounded by all this talent. Like they make me look good, Well,
it's always good to be surrounded by a team of wonderfully talented women. So.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love it. And hey, hopefully the next one will be in person.
That would be absolutely delightful. And we'll throw up a few more comments. Sharon's very proud of
Oh,
her
Karen.
friend.
Oh,
And
I'm
then
proud of you.
so
Oh,
proud of a super talented wife.
my husband, love you, sweetie. Oh, that's awesome.
So, Pilar, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, and everyone out there, thank you for joining us. This was a delight. I've enjoyed myself. I hope you've enjoyed yourself too.
And I hope to meet and see you soon. I can't wait to come up. I'm literally overdue. I'm so overdue like for a visit up there. I've been wanting to come up to Rhode Island. I've been wanting to come to Massachusetts. So like definitely, especially when things become more or less at least in the realm of normal, I would love to visit.
When we feel like we can cross state lines, we'd be really happy to have you.
I love that. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. You and yours stay safe. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone out there, stay safe and be healthy, and you and yours.
Absolutely. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye.